For this design and to utilize the applique function on the machine, what we need to do is go through here and look at the placement, tack down, and cover stitch and apply it, change it so we can apply this to work together with the machine. So what we have here is we have a placement, which is in frame 1, a tack down, which is in frame 2, and a cover stitch, which is in frame 3. So we're going to take frame 2, I'm going to left click inside there, and all I'm going to do here is change the color. I'll go ahead and press OK. Then we also have a Ladybug applique where you have the placement, the tack down, and then the cover. So we're going to take the tack down and also change the color. Now in reality we only have 2 colors in this design. Let's go to the worksheet and see how this is going to work with the applique mode. So after this is done, we can now export it for the machine. But first we're going to look at the worksheet, so we can print out the worksheet. And we're going to see here that we have multiple colors. But really all we need to do is plug in the same color multiple times. So we can see the color sequence goes black, green, black, red, green, red, black, red. What we are going to do on the machine is plug it in as black, 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 red, 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 and then black, and then red. So what that does for us in the applique mode is that the machine will stop automatically so we can do applique. So we're going to take this design and bring it over to the machine now.
Okay. Once the new design is loaded onto the control panel, we're going to go in and change our needle settings in order for the applique mode to kick on in the machine. So for this one, we're using black and red as the colors on the control panel and the needles. So the first one that we're going to do is for the number 1. So we're going to program in the number 3 times. 1 for our placement, our tack down, and then our cover. So on here, our needle is number 4 for black. So we put that in. That's going to create the stop points in between each piece. So once your placement stitches, it'll stop, allow your tack down to stitch, stop, and then your cover will go in. Then we're going to move into the Ladybug applique, and we do the same thing we just did for the black pieces. The only difference is that it's red. So red on this machine is 1, so we enter it 1, 1, 1. Placement, tack down, and cover once again. Then we go back in and it's going to do our detail stitching for the whole design. From there it's just black and then red because it's just satin detail going into the design. From here we just press OK to save our color choices. You can hit no if your machine does that. And we escape out. Alright, so now we're going to start the design and we're going to stitch it all the way through with the applique. So I've already traced to make sure nothing's going to hit a hoop. So I'm just going to hit start. You'll see it's going to move to needle number 4, which is going to start the placement stitch. You'll see it stops, allows us to lay down our material before it goes into the tack down. Good. If the machine and the pantographs push back like too far, you can actually move the pantograph out to help place down your material for the applique. And then to return to the last stitch point, simply go
Frame.
no. Oh yeah, frame, data, origin. It'll go back to the last stitch point the machine stitched at. So from here it's ready to do the tack down, so we just hit start. So from here, if you needed to cut away the excess fabric around the letter or the number that we're working on, you can just simply move frame out again and cut out the excess material around it. If you're dealing with pre-cut letters from like Stalls or any other distributor like that, you can actually just skip the last step of cutting away the excess material because they'll already come pre-cut. So from here, we've already moved the frame out, so we're going to go back and do what we did last time. So frame, data origin to go back to our last stitch point. And we're going to hit start, and that's going to start the cover stitch, which is a satin in this case.
So as it finishes the applique cover stitch on the number 1, it'll go directly to the placement stitch of the ladybug since it is a different color. Well, it actually does the detail of some of the ladybug first, and then it'll go directly to the applique. So after it does this detail, it's doing the placement of the red. You can now lay your fabric down, and we would just follow the same procedure. Just for time purposes, we're just going to go ahead and let it run through the whole thing. So we'll go ahead and press start, and now it'll do the tack down stitch. And after you do the tack down stitch, you can cut away your fabric, or if you're using pre-cut fabric, then you don't have to worry about that. But you can use that frame function
and move the pantograph out. After you move the pantograph out, you need to move it back in. You can hit frame and then enter. So now we're going to hit start again, and when you hit start, it will now do the cover stitch. And after it does a cover stitch, it will complete the detail, like the spots and the name. But because this stitches on the same needle and those needles are back to back, you are creating stops, and that's how the applique mode works specifically on the SWF and most other embroidery equipment.